Hey, Rifters, this is Keith Reza. Just letting you know tonight's episode with Kate Quigley is brought to you by the very funny stand up comic Steve JB. Steve's a good friend of mine. He helps me write jokes, and a few shows that I've had where we try to get something going, Steve's always been a writer. So, Steve, thanks for your support and your friendship, and I hope you enjoy this episode that you brought to the fans. Kate Quigley. Guys, follow Steve JB on Facebook, and he'll keep you updated with some laughs.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review. This is Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and his trusty sidekick, the one and only Alan Lee. How are you, Alan?
How are you? I'm great. You had some business last night. You had a show.
Yeah.
And happy for you. I'm glad that you're getting out again with COVID. And
Dude,
last night, so here you
I gotta be honest with you. Last night was one of the worst shows I've ever done, and it wasn't because of my stand-up. My stand-up was great. Just the show itself was terrible. Like, because it was Corinne Olympias's show, and I think Corinne is very talented. I think she has potential to be really good, but she did it as a whole podcast thing.
Oh.
And it was just I guess I'm trying to say I think her co-host sucked and ruined it. And I think her guests were terrible. You know what I mean?
But you mean to tell me the format was a show that was on a podcast and should he introduce you and you came on?
No. So it's at the club.
Yeah.
I go up cold. I do my 15 minutes or whatever. And then I brought up Corinne. She did like 5 minutes. And then she brought up her co-host. And then they did a little chatter batter, and that was not good at all. Like, you could tell the co-host thought she was a bigger celebrity than Corinne. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got into the guests and stuff. It was just all this Bachelor stuff and whatever, you know.
Oh my God, that was our Corinne back in the day. When she came by, she was on her show.
Yeah, she's great. I have nothing against her. I think she has massive potential. I'm just saying her show format, I think she needs to rethink.
Oh man,
she needs to be like Kate Quigley, who's our guest today.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And we like Kate a lot. Kate is always very nice to me.
Yeah, she's been on the Playboy TV, which you have a thing about, but whatever. And she's been on Comedy Central. And she has her own podcast called Date Fails with Kate Quigley.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where she's at because she's leaving us hanging at the Zoom, but she's going to be here. And it's going to be awesome. Subscribe, rate, review. Alan, you got any last things to say for opening remarks?
Well, I'm very happy you're up. I'm very positive. I think it's a great time. And we're on the comeback. All comedy is, and we'll see.
We'll see is the question.
I'm going to introduce you to some new venues there. That Chateau, was it Chateau Hole?
The Comedy Cha-Cha.
Comedy Chateau.
I did not like that venue at all.
Oh, and there's a one called The Wall, the Fourth Wall.
I've heard The Wall is hard though.
I thought you already performed there.
No.
Then,
well, maybe I did. I don't remember.
Yeah. Then, of course, there's a Ha Ha. That's no big deal. There.
I love the Ha Ha.
I know you do. It's one of your favorite clubs.
It is one of my... Oh, so Kate's coming into the Zoom. We'll let her in right now. She's in the Zoom. Technical difficulties, but Kate Quigley's Zoom ID is in.
KQ.
Yeah, she's in. And now it says Zoom notified me. It says it's connecting audio.
There you go.
Oh, I see Kate.
Yeah,
Hi,
for
Kate.
some reason my earbud's not. Does it matter if I use a mic?
No, I don't care.
I don't
How are
care.
you?
Yeah, never mind. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
No worries. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. How are you?
I know, isn't it funny? It was like 2 years and then 2 weeks.
I know.
I'm okay. I'm actually great. I want to wait. Who's with you? I got. How do I make it so I can see you all? I never use Zoom ever.
Oh, it's Alan Lee, the trusty sidekick.
Hey, Alan.
Yes.
What's up?
Hi,
You met
Kate.
Alan before.
Yes, of course.
He was the one who got you that Perrier water.
Like this.
Holy Lord, she still has it.
No, you know what's funny? I literally fill these with tap water to look fancy.
Oh my God.
I've done
And when
that.
people come over, I pretend like this is actually Pellegrino.
I've done
And I
that.
serve it to them.
Oh, which one's better, Pellegrino or Perrier?
I think they're the same. This actually is supposed to be sparkling, but not anymore. So
Oh, nice. Well, you look good. You look fancy. I like the painting behind you.
Yeah.
oh, thank you. Actually, you know, a fan gave me this,
An
A
artist.
fan gave you that?
but it's actually a print, like a digital. He does digital artwork.
Yeah,
Oh.
neat.
What's horrible is I'm trying to remember his name to give him a shout out right now. It's been so long. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'll have to look it up and send
Oh
it to
my
you.
God. The most things like fans give me is restraining orders. Ah,
Well, I'm sure I'll get one of those eventually.
ah.
I want to tell you something, like, not to take over your show, but
Yeah.
I was like, I have to say this to him before I forget, which is part of the reason I was late is because I've had such anxiety about doing someone else's podcast. I've only done one, which was
Right.
mine. And you
Which
were
I
the
listened
only-
to.
Which you did?
Yeah.
I'm trying to turn you up. Sorry, I can barely hear you.
Can you see
Ah.
us?
Now I can. I can see you, but I only see Keith's head big.
Oh, that's because I'm a big guy.
Right. Anyway, but you are like the only person I felt like, I don't know, I still was anxious just because I have anxiety now all the time, but you were the only person I felt really like comfortable to do this with because I just love you and I think you're amazing.
Oh.
And I know a lot of times, like, I see you post like, oh, so-and-so rejected me and you get bummed out. And I'm never sure
Want
if
to get
you're
a Kate Quigley post?
I don't know if you're joking, but I want you to know that, like, I thought of you today because people will say, like, just ignore them. But I know you're sensitive like I am. It can be hard, but I just hope you know, like, you're so dope. And those people are just fucking jealous of you. And that's it.
Oh, you're very sweet. That really cheers me up.
It's true.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like you know, I've told you this before. I feel like when we first started and our paths crossed, I didn't feel like we clicked, and I felt like we started clicking 3 or 4 years ago. That's when we really, you know what I mean?
I think what's funny about that is, and this is gonna, oh my God, this is going to sound mean. I don't mean it this way. It's just.
No, say whatever. I don't. I mean, I love
Don't-
you.
I mean-
I could take meanness now.
I just, at the beginning, no offense, just like when I was new in comedy, I felt like blood in a pool of sharks, the way guys all would come try to bang me, honestly.
Right.
And so I started to get a little, I was never that girl that, like, I was a little weird, like, figuring guys out.
Yeah.
And so what's hilarious is I really never noticed you till we started clicking.
Yeah.
Like, I would notice you, but like, until we started to connect, I guess I just take a while to trust somebody. Now, probably more like a decade.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah.
So like that's what I was trying to say. And then when you know, I don't really want to harsh on what happened to you because it's traumatic, but then what that happened to you, I was very worried about you. And I was like, oh my God, I hope Kate is okay. And then like a week later, Norm died. So I was like,
I
oh
know.
fuck.
I'm so
My
sorry.
entire- You know what I mean? So it's like,
Was it
so
really
that's
a
where
week?
my space was. I was like, oh dude, I'm losing all my friends right now.
Aw, thank you for caring.
Yeah, thankfully you survived, but during the time I didn't know because you know you didn't respond to any texts and I didn't expect you to.
Yeah.
But you know, it was like at the same time, it was like I have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah. That was the weird thing about it, was that a lot of people don't know. And I mean, I know I told the story, but then it's funny, like when I told the story on my podcast, and I don't want to make the show all about this or anything, but like I was trying really hard to only tell what was really important, to like clear up rumors and also to help people. And so I was trying to leave out stuff that was like just personally difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like, but some of it, like the police, when I left my house, it wasn't the police, it was the paramedics, but I mean, like, there was no time to look for my phone or anything. And so I didn't even have it like the first day and a half I was in there. Right. And by the time I got it, dude, it was like, I mean, it had to be 1,000 texts plus DMs plus, and even my own parents were mad. Like my mom was so mad I answered Red Band before her. But he was just the first one I saw. He was like the last one that had texted. So it was funny though, because like you realize there's people like you who understood. And also it took me a long time to even answer my best friends at first, because I could only tell one person a day what had happened. It was too much to tell all day, every day. So people got offended. Like there's one person who got super offended that it took me like maybe 50 days to reach out with a phone call, but that's just because I was like sick of telling the story over and over, you know? So anyway, and I was sleeping a lot and whatever. Point is, thanks for not taking it personal, because that was hard. It's
yeah.
I remember when we found out I was doing the Supernova show, and Mark Saratella, he's always in a bad mood, but he was in a way more usual bad mood. I was like, listen, Alan, I know Mark hates me, but I just got here. I have no idea why. And he was like crying and stuff. I was like, oh, what's going on? And then he was telling me what happened. I was like, oh, that's just terrible. And I didn't really want to do comedy that night.
I understand, because I had to go up the night Brody died and the night Ralphie died. Both times I had to do Burt Kreischer's podcast at Podfest the day Ralphie died. And then I had to do a big theater with Joey the day Brody died. And both times were really tough. I know what that's like. But you know what? Even if I died, I would want you all to go up. You know what I mean? I would want you all to go up. And that's the thing too, is like, I know Fu would be so proud of the way I handled everything. I know he would. And he was the one I was really friends with. So like, the one thing I will say is, it's funny you mentioned Mark, because it's just, you know, there's one person, this is actually hilarious. So there's someone who has no money, who's a comedian, who if he did, I would sue for slander. Because there's one person that's pretty much, after the beginning, told everybody that it was all my fault. And some people have believed it and some haven't. And so it's been like difficult, because some of the people who have believed it have been some of who I thought were closest friends and have never called me to ask. So it's just interesting. It's really made me a little weird. I'm a little paranoid about people now, but maybe that's not for the worse. But then I also get messages, and this is like not to toot my own horn or anything, but I get tons of messages from people who, like, my mom died. Like I got one yesterday from a girl who said her mom died from the same thing, and that she didn't know her mom even ever did drugs, and that like it was helping her process to listen to. So it's like, it's been hard for me, because I don't want people to think I'm doing it for attention, but I do think the story is like powerful to share and important, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's hard to decide, honestly.
Were you really close with Ralphie May? Because I remember when he died, that was just, I was closer with Brody, but Ralphie and I were friends, but I wasn't like I think I kind of knew Ralphie was on the verge of dying. You know what I mean?
A lot of people did. I knew something was up. I would say, well, the funny thing is, not funny, I always say that. Ralphie and I, he was almost just more like Joey loved me so much, and they were like brothers. And so Ralphie was always reaching out just to kind of check on me and help me. And like when I was on the road, I mean, we were becoming close friends when he died. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But before he died, I did notice the last couple months his text being different. Just a little more manic kind of. I mean, not saying that he was doing anything, I don't know, but like it wasn't like typical Ralphie. And so I was kind of worried. And then Joey said he was too. So yeah. But you know, that's the thing about this business. And that's the thing that's interesting, is like the people who died have been the easiest part for me to process, because I've lost so many friends like you have in this business. Stand-up is probably I feel like stand-up is like for people who are really great, they're either so sensitive, like Robin Williams was so sensitive. Like people like that, it's hard to handle the ups and downs of it, or they're sociopaths, so they won't ever die.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong.
Now, do you feel since this whole thing has happened, you've gotten back on stage, gotten back and, your feet wet and stuff, do you feel, because I'll be honest, when I do stand up right now, I don't feel free anymore. I feel very chained up, and I feel, keep in mind, I lost Norm, and then 4 months later, I lost Saget, and I was very, very close to both of them. So I feel very like stand-up's against me right now. Like, how do you feel?
Well, I understand that feeling, totally do.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, I feel the freest I've ever been, but that's honestly because after everything I don't want to make it like, I guess I learned that all the people I thought would be always have my back, a lot of them didn't, which made me go, fuck what anyone thinks about anything. I say whatever the fuck I want now. Also, I almost died.
Yeah.
I mean, I really thought I was gonna die for like a day and a half in the hospital. So like, the truth is, if my career ended because I said some wrong shit or bombed, or I just don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I'm having the most fun I've ever had on stage. That is the only place I feel like I don't have to be worried. It's so funny. It's like I step on stage. It's the one place I feel safe right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
It should be the opposite.
That's totally awesome to hear, because like I said, I still feel like I could do it, but I just feel like maybe I'm not that good anymore, because
You are.
remember we did Harvell's 2 weeks ago, and fucking John kept Alan. So I'm at Harvell's, and John kept like pushing me towards last, and he's putting all these terrible comics before me. And I was like, Jesus Christ, does this guy really hate me?
No, I think he just, well, I don't want to say anything to throw John under the bus or anything. I think he's not a comic, so I don't think he necessarily understands orders of lineups.
Yeah. Well, I actually did have a talk with him that night. I was like, listen, because when Dee used to run it, she made me a paid regular there. And
They have those?
Yeah.
I didn't get paid.
Well, yeah, but so I told John, I was like, look, John, I've done Harvell's the past, I don't know, 15 times for you for free. And each time you've been like pushing, like, I don't have a problem with comics, but I do have a problem with certain comics who not only think they're better than me, but they act like they know more than me. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
People do that?
It's like an ego thing. And
that's not about you. They probably do that to every single person.
No, 100%. Yeah. But I said, John, I don't want to go ever. I'll do Harvell's, but I'm not fucking following Keith Carey and saving the show every single time. You know what I mean?
Do I know him? Keith Carey.
Yeah, he's a comic.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, it's basically like he's not that. His stand-ups is just all right, but like, it's, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a guy, I won't say who, that every time I do a show that he's on, I always have to follow, and it's fine. I think personally he's very funny when he's hitting.
Right.
He's one of those guys, the audience either loves him and gets him, or they're just totally confused.
Right.
You know? And so he can be hard to follow.
That's Kate saying she doesn't want to mention my name.
No. But you know, this is the thing, and this is going to sound so arrogant, but you know, people know that way back, I dated Bobby Lee, like when I first started comedy. And
you did Bobby Lee?
People know that. I've said it.
I didn't know that.
Isn't that a shock? Okay, well, yeah, but it was very brief, and we're still friends and whatever. But it's funny because I didn't really know who he was, because I never watched Mad TV at all.
Right.
I had no idea. I mean, I knew he did stand up because my friends said, "Oh, he's a stand up." But that was it. And so I was brand new in comedy, and before I did stand up, I'd only been to a few comedy shows my whole life. So I go to the Comedy Store with Bobby. He's about to go up, and I was like, "No pressure, but I've never seen you before, so I hope you're funny," which is like such a terrible thing to say anyway, now that I'm a real comic, I get. Bobby goes, I don't give a fuck if you think I'm funny or not. And then, but what's hilarious is when he said it, I remember thinking, oh my God, I could never be that arrogant. But now I understand, because it's like, once you know what you're doing, you don't care if you bomb. I've gone to open mics, like coffee shop open mics on the road that are like music, poetry, everything, and gone up and written bad jokes to bomb on purpose for fun.
Yeah.
Like write like dad jokes and just go up and be like, this is my first time, and tell them. And that's fun too. What's hilarious is even when you bomb on purpose, though, it hurts a little on the inside. It's very
right.
odd.
Well, see, I'm the exact same way. I don't care if people think I'm not funny. I care if the audience does or the bookers, but not the comedians, because I know comedians really have no say over my humor. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and also like if 90% of the audience thinks you're funny, you're winning. I mean, there's always going to be some people who are offended by certain things or came with their, I had a girl come to my show in Cleveland who I went to high school with, but I barely knew. But then like after the show, she told me, I just don't think stand-up comedy is very funny. I mean, I don't really like any stand-up. I'm like, who doesn't think stand-up comedy is like, that's like a mental illness, I think.
Yeah, the Nazis.
Like a psychotic person, maybe. Yeah.
That's weird.
How is that like when you perform and you see someone you went to high school with or whatever? Like, is it awkward for you?
It's very weird because I feel like an absolutely different person. Because I got married when I was 19, and I was like married to like a super Christian guy in a super Christian-y town, and just like, and that I still have the same values, I think, but like I also tell dick jokes, and now I have these, like, people know I did cocaine, and like it's like weird because I feel like I don't know how to be sometimes,
Yeah.
But they're always really nice. So I don't know. I give them free tickets to make it better.
I'm over the whole free ticket thing, because when I first started, all I used to do was hey, free tickets, and now with COVID and and I'm not getting a lot of work, now I actually need the money. It's like I can't do free tickets, and people get upset. It's like, you know what? I gave you guys free tickets during the prime of my career.
I know what you're saying. I know. You're like, when I was on the road with Norm Macdonald or whatever. The thing about it is, two things. One, I just feel that when I'm on the road, I'm usually getting paid a weekend rate with bonus options, unless I'm starting to do shows in different places from comedy clubs, just so that I can do a one night, sell my own tickets. Even if you sell 50, you make more. I mean, I hate to say that because I love working clubs, but they give you a bonus if you sell out. But It seems like I'll look around a club on a Saturday night and see no empty seats, or like two, but it's at a table with 3 people on a 4-top. And then the club's like, no, we seat 50 more people than this. And I'm like, where the fuck do you put the people? Like, so I feel like it's impossible. Like, I know Pauly Shore used to walk through with a clicker before he would go on stage and count the people in the audience.
Yeah.
At this point, I just try to break even, to be totally honest. And I have the OnlyFans, which I'm never naked on. It's just essentially like the shit I used to post on Instagram, I put there now.
I know I not to sound like a pervert or anything, but you tricked me subscribing into your OnlyFans.
Thank you. Oh, you subscribe? Yeah.
Well, not anymore. I unsubscribed, but I subscribed. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. She's not going to know who I am.
I'll give you a free code, Keith.
Right.
You too, Alan. But the funny thing about it is,
naked stuff, I was like,
dude, I felt guilty for a long time to do, because like, I don't judge sex workers. I host the AVN Awards. I don't judge anybody for doing what they want. I just always felt that I'm so personal on stage, on podcasts, that if the dudes I'm fucking aren't the only ones seeing me naked, like they get nothing basically. So I mean,
that's why I agree.
Dating. Yeah. but I used to be ashamed to like sell a pair of underwear, like the guy would ask, or rate a penis. And now I'm like, fuck it, for $200, I'll sell you a pair of underwear. Like, I'm like, why am I being stupid? I mean, I'll sell you guys underwear for $10. I'm just kidding.
Right.
But I have less shame, but that's since I almost died. It's all about the death. Because I'm telling you, I don't want to say everyone should almost die once, but it's the most freeing. It's made me a little meaner
Yeah.
because like I have no boundaries, but I've been told by my therapist that's just PTSD and that'll go away. But like, if someone says, like the other day, someone who very much annoys me, who's asked me to do his podcast 80 million times,
Sorry.
not you. No, but it's like, you know, those people who message you on, like a DM, and then if you tweet before you answer, they're like, wow, okay. They're like offended.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't spend all day in my DMs. I read them like once a day. But anyway, like I finally just said to that guy, you know what? No, I don't ever want to do your show. But only because he annoyed me so many times. So anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of bitchy now, but I think it's a good thing. I also like want you to know this is straight tequila. I'm just kidding. Right? If I just walked around with this much tequila all day.
That's Alan's type of party.
Oh,
I just think it looks impressive to drink out of this.
I think
And it's
that's a
kind of
good
cool, right?
That's a cool idea.
Thank you. This is how I get my daily water intake. Okay, I talked enough. What's up with you guys?
No, I totally understand the whole almost dying feeling because I was in a car accident 9 years ago, maybe.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I mean, not to brag or anything, but I fell asleep when I was driving, and you know, and my car flipped
Horrible.
over like 4 times. It was a miracle that I didn't
What?
break. Yeah.
Where?
Alan, it was on the way from Arizona, right? Or
Yeah.
back from Arizona.
Was he with you?
No, but I called Alan in the
No,
hospital.
I was not.
I thought you were gonna say from the car, like that was your first call.
No,
Not 911. Hey, Alan.
Yeah, that's why I
Out
fell
here on the
asleep.
tent.
I was not there.
But
Damn, you fell asleep, dude. You know what?
it was scary because, like,
Yeah.
one,
we
I can't
talked a
drive
lot.
back. The car's destroyed, and you know,
Well, no, really? You didn't flip it back over and keep going?
I tried to do that.
What kind of car was it?
It was a 2009 black Nissan Sentra.
Dude, you need to shout that out because
The car saved my life.
I used to work with Nissan, you know. I was the official, I almost don't want to say it because I don't want people to go looking for it, but
Oh,
I no, because it's embarrassing. Because I literally was like, before stand-up, I was the official spokesperson, first spokesperson for the Nissan Leaf. Like I did like tons of press for them for the Nissan Leaf.
that's awesome. Did they give you free cars?
Well, we were on the road, but I got to drive it whenever I wanted. But I like gave Larry David a walk around on the Leaf before I understood who Larry David was, which is hilarious. And people were like, "Do you understand? He created Seinfeld." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, that's cool." And then now, of course, I'm like, "Wow, I was so dorky." He's a really nice guy. So
Oh, wait, you didn't know Larry David was Larry David when you were talking to him?
I mean, I knew who he was, but I'd never seen Curb Your Enthusiasm yet. It was on, and
Right.
the creator of a show just didn't impress me. I mean, that honestly does impress me now if I like the show. Or see, here's the thing about me. I'm impressed by talent and creativity. Like if you sell a show, I think that's outstanding because this business is difficult. However, I'm still so green in terms of how it all works.
Right.
Like, and I've been here 15 years. And I've had like a TV show and been on one. And I just still, if I have an idea, I have to call my manager and have him break down every step of how to make it. I'm not good at the business side. Dude, I don't even.
Same here. I'm terrible at that. I'm good at
Yeah.
making people laugh and I'm good at providing the jokes. But other than that,
I don't think many artists are great at the business side. Some are, but I am good at branding.
yeah.
I understand marketing, but I don't understand, and I don't really want to, and I have no interest in it. I don't want to know like what happens at the Oscars, honestly, at all.
No. It's interesting you said that Larry David story because this actually just happened to me last night and I told Alan. So I did this show last night and this guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, so this is the whole story, you know, and he's like, hey, you're the funniest comic I've ever seen. because the show was just me and like a podcast, so it wasn't really stand
Oh,
up.
stop. You don't have to like defend yourself for that. You gotta
No, I was just saying. So I was like, oh, thanks, man. He's like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm Keith Reza, introducing myself. And he says his name's Drake. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we started talking and stuff, and we're talking at the bar and stuff, and he's telling me how he does acting and stuff. And I was like, hey, you should do my podcast sometime. I got a great podcast. Kate Quigley's doing it. I've been harassing her 80 times this week. And, so he's like, oh, that's great. So we switched numbers, right? He's like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, oh, this is cool. This guy's a cool guy. And he's with all these hot chicks, right?
If it's Drake, I'm going to die.
Yeah, his name is like from the show Josh and Drake. I forgot his last name, but I remember.
I thought you meant like Drake.
No. So I remember I told my friend, I was like, hey, this guy on the show Josh and Drake, which I never watched.
Drake Bell.
Yeah, we're best friends, and he's going to do my podcast. And my friend's like, oh, Keith. He's like, Keith, you should tell him not to, because he got in trouble recently for being a pedophilia or something.
He did not.
Yeah. So this guy is texting me. He's like, can't wait to do it. I was like, holy Lord. So now I'm like, should I have
you looked up the story?
What?
Have you looked up the story to see if it's true?
Yeah. He pleaded. Yeah. He pleaded not guilty, but he said in a plea that he pleaded guilty just so, because he didn't know the age or whatever, but he said he's not guilty, but he's pleading guilty to move on.
To make a deal.
Yeah.
That means he's guilty.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to say that because I actually know, I'm pretty sure Stephen Glickman, do you know Glickman?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're really good friends. I'm pretty sure they're friends. I think Drake Bell did his podcast. Maybe actually I do remember Glickman telling me something about this now that I'm thinking about it. I have to check. That's hilarious.
So, like,
maybe they're not friends. I'm not saying they're friends if he's a pedophile.
No. And like, well, see, that's what I'm saying. We're like, I'm feeling like very like torn because like I've been texting this guy and he seems like a great guy. And then it's like, just because you Google something, like it doesn't necessarily, I'm not saying he's guilty, but I'm also saying he's
wait a minute. We have to also define pedophile because I hate to say this, but like the Dalia thing, for instance. Not saying he's not.
Okay, yes, exactly. Okay? That's a perfect.
Not a creep. I'm not saying he's not creepy. By the way, I like Chris, but like, I'm not saying he doesn't come up creepy. I'm not saying he wasn't a sex addict, but if the girl says I'm 18 and shows a fake ID or something, I mean, and she's 15.
Yeah.
How is that his fault? I know it's easy to like directly hit on your fans only and everything, but that is why men get famous. That is the whole reason guys get famous, to fuck their fans.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean honestly, I just want to get famous so I could live a happy life and stop.
You can do that without being famous. I'm doing it. I mean,
well, you're more famous than me.
And I'll tell you something. You know what? The first time in my life I got followed around by paparazzi, and I am lucky I'm not in jail because I was angry. It really pissed me off, and I don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
I never did. I did when I was young, a kid. Like when I lived in Ohio, and I'm like, ooh, People magazine. Oh, cool. And then you get a little taste of, not to throw anyone under the bus, but like the guy I was dating, I mean, like his public image is so pretend. It's so like put on because he has to, it's like politics. And I think comics have a little more freedom, but then I can't audition for anything like Disney. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's the one thing Andy Dick told me. He told me that when people, because, when I was with Norm and I hang out with Andy and stuff, there's always paparazzi. He told me just ignore them and don't talk to them because that's when you get in trouble.
And you don't just say hi and smile.
No, Andy told me don't even say that. Just walk away as fast as you can and go get your Baskin Robbins.
Keith, to be totally honest, I think that's probably more true for Andy than you because you're not high. You're not either. Andy, this is actually so funny you brought up Andy because I've met Andy sober and fucked up, right?
Right, yeah.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
It's literally Jekyll and Hyde. And it's hilarious you mentioned him because my friend did a show with him the other night. And he was, which one's the high one, Jekyll or Hyde? Whichever one's the fucked up one. And he was telling me the story. And my friend was upset because he was hosting the show. And Andy was like, so, you know, when he's fucked up, he's so disruptive.
I know Andy.
Listening to the story, though, I could not stop laughing. I mean, he made another comic come on stage and was telling him how much he doesn't like his show, his TV show, and just like he was on that Andy trip that's insanity. And it was funny because I was like, I think Andy Dick, listen, if you know Andy, you tell him this when he's sober again. I think Andy should do a show where it's called Andy Dick Stories, and he sits down with people because everyone in LA has an insane Andy Dick story.
Yeah.
Everyone. And they tell him the story and we see what he recalls and he could comment on the story because I'll bet he doesn't remember 90% of the shit that happens when he's fucked up.
Oh, he doesn't. He's met Alan like 1,000 times. He doesn't even remember Alan.
I mean, I saw him one time. I was at an LA Fitness and he had his ankle monitor on, which probably meant he was sober, but it was funny because he still came out in his underwear walking through the gym with his robe. It was a robe wide open, walking around with his ankle monitor. And I was like, is he sober? Like, it was the weirdest. I mean, everybody has a great story about Andy. First time I met him, he took my hand and I thought he was going to kiss it. And then he just stuck my fingers in his mouth. And I was like, what is happening? But I like him because he's sweet.
Yeah. And for people who know Andy, they know he's the sweetest guy in the world. If you don't know Andy, you have a hard time believing that.
My friend the other night that doesn't know him, who was at a show he was at, said, I don't like that guy because he walked right up to my girlfriend and kissed her on the mouth. And I go, that wasn't sexual. It's just Andy doing the shock thing he does. It's just Andy. But it's not like he was trying to bang your girl. I mean, it's just what Andy does. Like,
I don't even think Andy can bang a girl.
I don't know. That's what I said. I go, I don't think he's trying to fuck any women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
So back to the Drake Bell thing. What do you think? Good idea to be his friend or bad idea?
Well, I don't know the story of what he did. So
Get back to me.
I would look it up. I got Alan, look on your phone and see what what does Alan do here? Alan hasn't talked.
I know.
You guys are doing so good. I didn't even know when mic was on.
Alan, I'm sorry.
My deal is I don't dig anything associated with pedophilia. And as I told, and this is going to sound a little harsh, I will get if that fuckhead comes on this podcast, I will have my own podcast, and Keith can come on and explain.
Wait, have you looked it up?
My podcast.
I told him about it. Yeah.
No, you're
but none of you guys.
I will have my own podcast because of that. Thank you.
But we don't know if he's a pedophile yet. What if the girl was 17?
Listen, these days with Epstein Island and kids and
but those are children.
And trafficking and all that shit. Fuck that.
But what if it's a college student?
Jesus, friends, you listen.
I don't know. A girl under 18.
I know Keith doesn't smoke anything, but whatever the fuck you had last night, don't you ever do that again.
Keith, you smoke?
Fucking mind.
When you get Alan on his rants, there's no stopping him.
You bet.
I'm not calling a guy a pedophile without information.
I had a fucking car accident. I feel freed up too. It's just Alan, when he's on the podcast. You know what?
Yes, he talks.
See the new.
Wait a minute, though.
The new
Alan, wait a second.
No, I just don't like the idea.
No one likes pedophiles, but what if he's not? We don't even know what he did.
Well, you know what? We better get that cleared up. If you're gonna fucking guess,
he's gonna sue me for defamation next.
No, I won't.
Can I tell you a funny story? Keith,
yeah.
How many people listen to this? Because I might get sued for this, but whatever.
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
I have 22K subscribers. How many listen? No idea.
All right, whatever. Who cares? Listen, I won't name.
It's only a town. Let's put it that way.
I'll promote it. So an ex of mine, I'm not gonna lie, okay? And I tweeted about this, but like, PTSD is wild, man. Because I've never been pregnant, but you know how pregnant women say they can't control their hormones or emotions? It's like they cry one second, they're enraged the next second. And that is exactly what it's like. It's like everything is so heightened, which is cool because like joy feels extra. But then again, like the tiniest thing, like I've never had road rage and I'll like find myself having it. Right. So I'm not gonna lie. I sent some really mean texts to like the guy that was telling everyone this was my fault and also my ex-boyfriend. And I sent a text to my ex-boyfriend that said like, you know, I think you deserve to die a painful death. I hope somebody hurts you like you hurt me. I sent that to him.
Whoa.
I know, but his lawyers said that's a death threat. He calls the lawyers.
Holy Lord.
And I'm like, what bitch has not said to some dude that lied to her?
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, this guy did lie to me for it. I mean, told me he was getting divorced and it's been 2 years and he's still not. So just saying.
It's also the opposite. I mean, I'm sure guys have, you know.
But I mean, what kind of dude calls lawyers because a chick says,
Yeah.
I wish you were dead. I mean, in a text.
That's nonsense. I don't know what's going through his mind.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because since that happened, I tweeted a joke about it because I thought the best defense is to say, I wish he was dead. I saw
the tweet. That was a good thing.
Well, like who tweets it if they're gonna murder someone?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
only a tweet murderer.
No, but you know, she's right. She's right. She did the right thing, and that guy's ridiculous. It's nonsense.
Yeah, but then I'm also like, what is defamation? I mean, unless I'm costing you money or telling I'm telling the truth if I'm lying, you know. But then I got scared. Like, what if some other woman who's mad at him now murders him, and I get blamed because I tweeted it?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more than one, you know.
Well, Kate, you ready to start the podcast now?
No, listen. You know, Keith and I were at that club. You know, when you went to the hospital. We were like so freaked out. And you know, I'm a Buddhist, and I even put it on Facebook. You know, I made a Buddhist prayer for you at my temple.
Thank you. I didn't see that. I don't go on there much.
Yeah, I know. And listen, we were so freaked out.
Thank you.
We were in the.
I felt it.
And you know, so listen, our heart went out to you, and like I said, it blew the whole night. We were just like freaked out.
Thanks, man. I mean, it was obviously
you've been so nice, and you know,
I like you guys.
We love you guys. And
so, you guys too.
We have one last question for you, and then we'll respect your time. But I was listening to your podcast the other day, and it was you, Adian, and an assistant that came at the end. Lily. So.
Coming over.
Yeah, we gotta say, is Lily single and does she like Keith Reza type humor?
Oh.
Yeah, you and Lily. Ooh.
Yeah. I thought she had the voice of an angel.
She's fucking rad, man. I'll tell you, this girl, I'm fortunate that the weird thing is the good thing about the pandemic, fuck the accident, but like I learned how to find ways to figure out making money when I can't go on the road, not a lot, but I put all my money into her now because I've realized like mental health wise and business wise, you got to acknowledge what you suck at, right? So I suck at organization. I suck at logistics, blah, blah, blah. I don't do taxes, shit like that. So anyway, Lil, she's 25 and like such a badass. Like she grew up here with no dad, like pretty much homeless with her mom in a car, and is like the hardest worker I've ever met and so smart. And she doesn't want to be famous. Do you know how hard that is to find?
Yeah.
So she's been a lifesaver for me. Her and Dee Burdett, honestly, have both.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I went to Mexico to get well, and Dee and her husband moved my entire house into an apartment while I was in Mexico, so I wouldn't have to go there again.
Dee is kind of like, she's not my manager, but she's kind of like my manager. Like she helps me out.
I call her a producing assistant because she.
Yeah. She's my producer.
Yeah. All the events I do, because now I'm starting to do shows, and that's what I was going to tell you, Keith, for money. And like, figure out a show that's not just stand up that you can stream and charge. That's what I'm doing now, this dating game show thing live. Oh, so nice. I don't feel like I'm burning jokes or streaming comics doing stand up, you know, but it's something people can pay and watch. And that way you can make money online from these
Great
guys so much, you know, $5 or whatever.
Great idea.
That'd be cool. Let's do that at the Rec Room.
I want to.
All right. We'll do it in May. So, Kate, where can the folks at home support you and follow you and all that jazz?
You all can just come over to my house. Just kidding. No, you know, just follow me at Kate Q Funny. Actually, this week, if you happen to be LA, where you're listening, I don't know. If you're in LA,
It's all over the world.
has anyone ever told you have norms like rhythm, like you have his like speech, what do you call it, like speech patterns?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
I
glad
get that a lot.
A little like Barry Cat.
No, I get that a lot, but like you gotta keep in mind, I was on tour with the guy for 7 or 8 years.
I know.
So like his mannerisms, like Norm was like my dad. You know what I mean? And here's the thing that sucks is when Norm died, Saget was the only one who called me and texted me once a week until Saget died.
I'm so sorry.
And Saget was a sweetheart, man. Like I was becoming so close with Saget, and Saget was just such a good dude. You know,
it's interesting. Like in this business, you meet almost everybody, but Bob was one I didn't ever cross paths with. But I'm close with Adam Duritz, and he loved him so much. I mean, I know he took it real. And like Adam's one of those guys. Like you have friends that if they say someone's a great person, I don't ever have to meet him. I just know because Adam's a great person. So. Yeah, like I'm so sorry, man. But you know what? Here's the good news. At least one of us lived because usually people die in threes. So you got lucky. Just kidding.
I know. Well, I look at it this way. Like I knew Norm had cancer and I knew he was going to die, but I didn't know it was going to be like, cause he told me he was getting it, fixed and stuff. And I think he introduced me to Saget because he knew he was going to die and he wanted Saget to look over me.
Really?
People do things like that. Like even subconsciously, I think like when someone, like I swear, I think Betty White died on New Year's Eve in some way on purpose, like subconsciously even because she didn't want us to start another year in a shitty way.
Yeah. Wow. And I know everyone who worked at People magazine was pissed off that Betty White died because they just released her 100th birthday.
I know, but you can't be pissed off.
They're like, why couldn't you just last 16 days, you old cow?
I'll tell you one last funny thing before we get off here. I know you guys don't have all night too, but I'm not kidding about this. New Year's Eve, I played the Long Beach Laugh Factory. And obviously Betty, I forget what time they said she died, like 2 PM or something I heard, right? Yeah. So I go to play Long Beach and somebody said to me, whatever you're doing at midnight should be like what you want to be doing for the whole year, like kind of like an omen for your future. So like if you want to be an Olympic swimmer, go be swimming at midnight or whatever. Right. So I was like, well, I want to like laugh a lot and I want to have good sex and I want to make money this year. So I came home, it's a true story. I put the cash in the house, which was like $20 on my couch, and I grabbed my vibrator and I put on Golden Girls because Betty White had died.
Right.
And I'm watching Golden Girls and I'm waiting for midnight. I'm like, I'm going to masturbate to Golden Girls at midnight on money.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Well, I know that sounds creepy, but wait. I don't need TV. I use my mind. Okay. Yeah. So I plug in the vibrator because it's the Hitachi. You plug it in. 11:59. I turn it on. Dead.
Whoa. She didn't want you to do that.
The cord had burnt out or a mouse ate it or something. And I was like, it died for Betty White to use in heaven. Like I felt like I couldn't believe it. It felt like an omen.
That's a sign.
Wow,
okay.
That's wild.
Thank you so much for rifting with us. We love you very much, and we're glad we're glad that you're healthy and you're getting your life back on track after a traumatic experience. And it's good seeing you on the stage and all that stuff.
What did you say about stage? I didn't hear that.
Oh, I said it's good seeing you on the stage. Not like a stripping stage, it's a stand-up stage.
You don't know. Well, at Harvell's, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do that for real Rec Room. And people can come see me in LA this week. And I'm doing date bells again and some other stuff. So other stuff.
All right. Well, I love you, Kate. Hook me up with Lily and have a great day.
You are the bomb, Kate.
Thanks, Alan. Hey, and by the way, we don't know if that guy's a pedophile. Check into that. Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye, Kate.
All right. Bye.
Awesome. And that was Reza Riffs with Kate Quigley. Alan, did you have fun?
Oh, it was great.
It was awesome. It was a hoot.
You don't understand, you've always said to me how much like Andy Dick likes me, and then on this one you say he doesn't even remember me.
He didn't remember you. You don't remember that?
You mean the French restaurant?
Yeah. You don't. We got to retract that. But no, what Kate was saying was Andy doesn't. His mind is so exploded with drugs, he doesn't remember.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's very sad, but we got to get Andy back on.
He's a connection with both of us, and he doesn't forget us.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, I maybe came out wrong. I don't know. No big deal.
I did not mean it like he just forgot about us. I meant like there's a time where, you know what I mean, when he's high, he doesn't remember. That's what I meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drugs, like, that's what I'm saying. That's what she was saying, is his brain's all. It's sad. Like, I feel bad for him. I love Andy very much. I know you do too.
No, he's always treated us well. I don't. He's never really screwed us over, per se.
Well, Alan, this is a great episode. I'm proud of you. I loved your rant. We need more. We need Alan Lee rants on every episode. That's what we'll.
You know what? I might just have one prepared.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll be like, Alan, do you have a last second question for the guest? And you could be like, well, Keith, I'll tell you what, man, I don't deal with this. You know, I don't deal with anything, you know, like I got, you know, I'm Buddha, you know, I got strict, you know, all that stuff. And you know, I just don't play with that, you know. And then I saw a movie the other day and Jennifer Lopez was just like, yeah. And I was like, you done, Alan? No, here's my question.
Which you do a good impression of me, so you better watch it.
All right. Well, I love you, Alan. We'll see you next week.
Ditto.
All right.
Ditto.
Bye.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.